Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome into the Lindsey Beckham Show. I am here with Shaun Yerkeron, your favorite lawyer in
Hey,
Mississippi.
everybody. It's Monday, right? Happy
It is
Monday.
Monday. It is Monday.
And it's Lindsay's birthday.
Woo!
Happy birthday, Lindsay. She is 41 years young today. So
You weren't supposed to tell the people that,
I did that
Shaun.
deliberately.
Of
Absolutely.
course you did.
So
Shaun, do I look like I'm glowing?
is that,
I
is that what
mean,
happens when you get over 40? Do you start glowing?
no,
Or
that's what
is it
happens.
like
That's what
formaldehyde or what is
you
it?
know. I'm against all those things they put in
Yeah.
vaccines. You know this.
Yeah.
No, that's what happens when you go to Women's Wellness and get one of their Zeo glass facials like I
Oh,
did
what's a
last week.
glass facial?
It's an experience, and
Well,
it just
apparently.
it renews your skin and you glow. See,
Okay.
so you would never say I wasn't glowing. I tricked him.
It's usually with anger, but or rage. But so this is now. This is a women's wellness's
Yes, we
fault.
are coming to you guys live from the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. We are so thankful to have them as a sponsor. And if you have any questions about anything that they do, such as the weight loss, semaglutide, the hormone replacement therapy, skincare, aesthetics, any of those things, you can text Lindsay to 601-990-4255 and they will get back with you. Again, that's 601-990-4255. I don't think we'll be taking any phone calls today, but we do have a text line now. So you can text us 601-879-4648 if you have anything that you would like to add, any opinions, any hate thoughts, whatever it is. Let us know. We want to hear it all.
Yep, that'd be great. So we
one more thing I did want to say.
Yep.
Sorry. I did want to say this. Obviously, with the Charlie Kirk passing last week, Moms for Liberty has teamed up with Turning Point USA because of the overwhelming number of requests they've gotten to start new chapters in high schools and colleges all across the country. There will be a Zoom meeting tonight giving all the information on how you can do that. And if anybody has any questions or you would like any information, you can find me on Facebook. It's the Lindsey Beckham Show, or just Lindsey Beckham, that's with an E, or lindsay@wiab.com. A couple of people have already emailed me, and I promise you guys I'll get back to you today.
Well, I'm sure everybody's dying to join Moms for Liberty right after.
They are.
Anyway, I won't make a joke, but I could.
You better be nice. It's my birthday.
Everybody want to join? Right? Anyway, yeah, okay, I'll stop. So anyway, we are here, y'all. Lindsay and I have talked about this on Facebook on Saturday, and we're here to discuss a case that I guess if you've lived in Jackson for a long time and you're around our age-ish, you've probably heard about. It's a murder case that happened in 2002 involving a man named Eddie Williams, and We've heard about this case, Lindsay, I guess, for many years. I know I have, and I'll start with that. I started working at the Hinds County District Attorney's Office in January of 2008. I ran the campaign of Robert Schuler Smith. I hate that I'm admitting that.
Are you really admitting that?
We did beat Faye Peterson, who's a great person, by the way. Sometimes I hate that we did that. She's a great judge too. We beat her that year and we took office. So the Williams murder case was not with our office. It happened in 2002. And what are you smiling about? It happened in 2002. And whatchamacallit? Oh God, I lost my train of thought now.
I can't smile?
I totally lost my train of thought.
Well, I'll tell you why. Obviously, it interests me. I'm a true crime junkie, and I know you and Clay like to make fun of me for that. But this case really sparked my interest because I lost a sister, and it's her birthday too. We have the same birthday, 7 years apart, and she actually died in Jackson. They never found her killer, but she was burned in an abandoned warehouse. And so because of the circumstances around her murder, this one to me is it just sparked my interest. And I've always gone back to the Facebook page and looked to see if there was any new information. And then you said, you had also looked into it.
Yeah. So that's where I was going. 2008, we took office, and this murder happened in 2002. That DA's office under District Attorney Pearson handled it. So it wasn't our office. It was years later. I was there, like 6-7 years later. And one of my investigators was a guy named Kent Daniels, who was the lead detective on the Williams murder case. So I knew Kent real well. And a few other investigators had kind of worked on it up there. That's what a lot of cops do. They'll be detectives, police officers, and they'll go to work at the DA's office. I think it pays more. And so a lot of police officers want to get that job. And so we'd all discussed the case back in 2008. And when we were discussing it, there were people that at that point in 2008, I was 28 years old, and there were people that I knew, kind of contemporaries, that
So
knew
young
about
back
it. Yeah, I
then.
know, so young, I'm 46 here now. And that knew about the case, and I'd heard about it before. When it happened was actually August of 2002 is when I first started law school, so I just left Jackson, and but I'd heard about it, and everybody kind of that age group I think had heard about it, and so we talked about it in the DA's office about resurrecting it back then if there was any possibility. It was kind of more conversational than anything else. And that wasn't able to, unfortunately, be done based upon, a lot of the evidence, I think, now that I'm looking at too, and see why that didn't happen. But so that's where we are. And then where we are with that, where our kind of background of hearing about it. And then, over the years, I'd heard about it. People around the community would always talk about that case. And apparently Eddie Williams is a really good guy that people continue to talk about him.
People
Right.
loved him. I mean, when you hear people talk about Eddie Williams, it's with such respect and honor, and just you don't hear anything bad. You just hear how great he was.
No, I mean, yeah, you do. You hear really good things. And for now, we're talking about 23 years after the murder. And so then a few years ago, we've heard some local politicians that we know or talk about it. And then lately, I'm not going to name them, but they've actually took it to the new, once John Horn was elected, and took it to him. I don't know what the status of that is, Lindsay. I don't really know. I know that's just kind of being run through the system that way. Is this something they'll take a look at?
Yeah, hoping that a new administration and some fresh eyes can be able to look at this and finally bring some justice to this family that they so desperately deserve.
Right, exactly. And then one of the politicians actually brought me the file, what he had, and to look at, because I spent a career prosecuting homicide cases, and I don't even know how many that I've taken to trial, and that doesn't count the ones I handled and didn't take it to trial. It's kind of where my expertise lies in doing that. I did that work for a really long time.
But it was ironic that they brought this to you, because we have been discussing it for about a year now.
Yeah, we discussed it before because because I heard about this case so much, and I forget why you and I started talking about it a year ago. For some reason we did.
I think it was the anniversary.
Okay, like a year ago, whenever it happened. Yeah. And so they brought it to me, and I started looking through the file and going through it, and caught a lot of names I recognized in that file, plenty of names, and started making phone calls, and it's amazing what you dig up, what happens. And we're going to get into some of the stuff that we found. We're not going to get into some of the other stuff that we think might be pertinent down the road, because this is, I guess, Lindsay, best way to say it, we're not doing a show. We're doing a show today, but it's not just, this is an ongoing thing.
This is the tip of the iceberg.
You might be able to explain that, right?
I think that this is really going to be the tip of the iceberg. We are just starting to really dig in. We have just gotten some of the documents, and we are plan to get more.
Yeah.
And I think we have a small percentage of what we will get, but the people that want to talk, it's enormous.
Yeah, there's been a lot. Before we announced it on Facebook too, then we did. God, since the last 2 days though, it's even more than the people that were talking about before. And I think what we're gonna do that, and this is gonna be a process. But we did find, I think I would say, we found stuff that people in the public hadn't talked about before, at least what I'd looked at.
Some people may know it. Yeah. Obviously, some people do know some of the things that we're going to talk about.
Some people probably would,
but it's not been like public knowledge.
And I guess the best way, Lindsay, what do you think to start was a lot of this? I'll kind of fast forward real quick, and then we'll kind of explain what the whole case was about. So 2 men were charged and arrested in this case, and we'll get to describing all that and how that went around.
Do you want to tell what happened?
No, well, I want to get, but okay. I did this. Well, I want to make this point to where some of this information came from.
Okay.
So the 2 men, and we'll say who they are later, were arrested, and their case was taken to the grand jury. I think may have been on 2 occasions, and they were what's called no bill, which means dismissed at the grand jury. That doesn't mean you can't bring it back up. You can bring it back up before the grand jury, but it was just no bill. They voted not to indict them, essentially. And then a couple of years later, around 2004, they filed a lawsuit, these 2 men, against the city of Jackson, and I think the police department, Kent Daniels, the detective, Vernon Hughes, who was the fire department investigator, saying that it was under what's called a 1983 action, that it was they lacked probable cause to arrest them. That case was ultimately dismissed by the federal district judge in a motion for summary judgment by the city, and saying that they did have probable cause. And so anyway, well, incidentally, that civil reason I bring that up, Lindsay, is, as I told you, that civil suit disclosed a lot of information that I don't think the public would have had.
Yeah, that's why we know some of the stuff that we know.
It was like the stupidest thing ever. I'm like, I don't know why you would have filed this civil, especially, just based upon what I've seen in it. But anyway, we'll get to that. Lindsay, I'm gonna let you describe because you're really good at that.
like the facts.
Yeah, because I talk too fast and I'll jump through things. Think everybody knows the law, so you describe
You do
it.
that. You do that a lot.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he was trying to describe to me what is it? Homicide
Yeah.
and how, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
get too technical sometimes.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm like, but you don't understand, Shaun.
Mhm.
Normal people out there like me aren't going to know what you're talking about when
Yeah.
you start talking like
Kingfish
that.
told me too. He's like, sometimes you just hyper nerdy and technical, and I do that. So I'm gonna let Lindsay just tell y'all what happened.
Okay, so there were 3 guys that this kind of centers around: Eddie Williams, Matt Weghorst, and James Mitchell.
Right.
Now, these guys, along with another friend, were at Finian's, which, Shaun, you are a friend of Finian's. You know exactly
I'm
where
very
that
well
is.
aware of
Well aware of
yeah.
Finian's.
Even in that year, 2002, I used to go. Like I said, I started law school in August of 2002. But prior to that, I was there all the time. And then once I got back, I was there until it closed.
Fun fact, one of our first dates, you took me in there and I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I think so. Right? I think I've been going there forever. Or did.
Right before they closed.
Yeah.
Okay, but so they were at Finian's and they were drinking. Now, all of these guys either worked at timeout or hung out a good bit at timeout. I think they all worked there at some point.
Maybe that. Yeah, I'm not sure.
At least I know Matt did and Eddie did.
Okay.
So they're at Finian's.
Yeah, we know Eddie did. I knew that. I thought you meant the people that were arrested, but yeah, I know Eddie did for sure. And maybe Matt did too. I'm just saying. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Mitchell. So they're all drinking at Finian's, and they decide to go back to timeout. And I don't know if it was Finian's was closing or whatever. Timeout stayed open later, I think, than some other places.
Or they let people that were regulars stay, is what I read in their depositions.
Right. So they decide to go back there. They decide that James Mitchell is too drunk to drive.
When they're at Finian's, right?
When they're at Finian's. And he has a Porsche. And they decide he's too drunk to drive. So Eddie Williams drives his car, which I still don't understand the reasoning behind this, but Eddie Williams drives his car.
His Porsche.
Yeah. And Matt Weghorst and James Mitchell get into Eddie's truck and drive it. Okay. They get to timeout, and Eddie is supposed to meet them there. He never shows up. Come to find out, there is an apartment complex kind of behind timeout. And if you don't know what timeout is, it was a sports bar.
On Old Canton Road.
Right. And so there's an apartment complex kind of back behind there.
It's by Tracewood, which has been the center of the water kind of fiasco right now. If everybody knows where that is, it's around that area.
So they stay at timeout for a while drinking. People see them there. Finally, I guess they have last call. They lock the door. Everybody leaves, but they allow some people to stay. I guess that they knew really well or that worked there.
You know, if you've ever been a bar hound like I have, like if you know the bartender, sometimes you can stay after hours till they finish.
So they kick you out?
Yeah, I've done that, many times in my life, sure.
So that's what happens. Eventually, when everyone leaves timeout, they leave. And this is according to them. Yeah. They leave. And as they are driving, I guess they go to look for Eddie.
2 hours after he
2 hours after he doesn't show up, or more than 2 hours, actually. I mean, somewhere around 2 hours. Anyway, as they are driving, I guess heading towards his apartment, they see the car, the Porsche, James Mitchell's Porsche, on fire.
Yeah.
And
behind in the Tracewood area there, Meadowwood, I think was the actual street.
Now, it said that there was some sort of wreck.
Yeah.
And that his Porsche hit another vehicle. Now, what I have, and I don't think this was in an official document, but what I have learned is that there was no structural damage to the Porsche or to the other vehicle that it evidently hit. But once they put the fire out, and I'm not sure, I think it was the neighbor who called 911. But once they get the fire put out, they find that Eddie was in the passenger seat. He died from smoke inhalation, but also had blunt trauma to the head.
Well, it was contributory. The immediate cause of death was smoke inhalation.
Right, but he also had a contusion to the brainstem.
Yeah, contributory cause of death was contusions of the brainstem. According, this is Dr. Stephen Hinds, who I knew actually very well when he was alive, and he's been the center of a lot of controversy, like that Innocence Files things we watched. No, that's besides the point, but that's who did the autopsy. But
it's ruled a homicide, and so this is what Shaun and I kind of had these. A little, not an argument, but I was like, well, it's ruled a homicide, so it's a murder. And then Shaun goes into his technical lawyer terms.
Yeah, it's not necessarily, and if it's ruled a homicide in an autopsy report, doesn't mean it's necessarily a murder.
Well, it means he died at the hands of someone else. It means you died to
someone else, right? Like a self-defense can be ruled.
I mean, somebody purposely killed you, right?
Correct, yeah.
So to me, that means murder. I think to the normal everyday American.
That's why I had you explain it, because I was going to get on to that. Like, that doesn't mean he was murdered. It could be a lot of other things.
Well, I think in this case, it's pretty clear that there was a murder.
Sure.
And so what is confusing is how he got into the passenger seat, how the car got set on fire.
That's very confusing.
How these two guys, Matt Weghorst and James Mitchell, were already there. Okay, and we got to take a break, I know, but that's kind of the just initial facts, and then it becomes who did it,
crazy
who done
after
it.
that.
Yeah, right. So stay with us. We'll get to all of that when we come back.
Let's share a slice. Here in the South, we keep our football loud and our pizza loaded. Grab a Johnny's Pizza House, sweep the kitchen, and cheer on your hometown team. Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice.
Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems, and now we are offering day and night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With day and night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty, and right now receive $20 off on service diagnostic fees. Call us today, 601-939-7420, mypureairconsultants.com.
Nick Bain served Mississippi for over a decade in the State House. During that time, he fought for our children by protecting them against explicit materials pushed by the woke agenda. He protected taxpayers by streamlining government and helped create policies that have made Mississippi better. Nick and his team at Bain Bowen will use the same tenacity in helping you with all your legal matters. Call them today at 601-953-2994. Find Nick online at bainbowen.com. That's BAIN Bowen.com.
We believe real love deserves real diamonds.
When you know the facts about lab-grown diamonds, the truth is not as pretty as it seems. I'm Corey Ravenstein.
And I'm John Ravenstein. A diamond is forever, but only if it's a natural diamond.
Think about it. What's more precious than your grandmother's natural diamond ring, handed down from generation to generation?
Sadly, a synthetic lab-grown diamond will never become a family heirloom.
That's why at Juniker Jewelry, we only offer natural diamonds, genuine creations of nature, formed over 1 billion years ago. Not Chinese lab-grown imitations.
They're rare, authentic, and one of a kind, just like her.
Doesn't your real love and your future family deserve an heirloom quality natural diamond?
Because she's not synthetic.
She's not a copy.
She's worth the real thing.
Real love, real diamonds, naturally at Juniker's.
Juniker Jewelry Company, Mississippi's direct diamond importer. 1485 Highland Colony Parkway, just south of 463 in Madison, and junikerjewelry.com.
Vans Comics Cards and Games is your local sports cards and memorabilia store, plus Pokemon, board games, comics, and more. Get in the game, make history, and own it at Vans Comics Cards and Games, Pear Orchard Road in Ridgeland, and at vansccg.com. Better ingredients, better pizza with a better website. Papa John's and papajohns.com team up for the best experience. Save more with Papa Rewards and all the best deals. Order today and enjoy the new specials and Papa's pairings at papajohns.com and at locations throughout the metro. The 2025 season is currently underway at Mississippi's premier sports training facility, Madison County Sports Zone. Our spacious facility features 18 Thunder teams ages 7 to 14, coached by former college and professional players, and is highlighted by an indoor diamond with 30-foot ceilings, dirt pitching mounts, 14 cages, and pitching machines under one roof. Memberships start at $75 a month, open 7 days a week. Ask about weekend birthday parties featuring inflatables in a party room. Madison County Sports Zone in Gluckstadt at mcsportszone.net. Delicious food and a relaxing atmosphere combine to make the best place for sports fans and foodie fans to watch the game and just hang out. Capitol Grill of Jackson. Of course they've got the games, but food, oh my goodness. Mouth-watering po' boys, fish, steaks, appetizers, and a specialty pizza menu. Kitchen opens at 5 Monday through Thursday and 11 Friday through Sunday. And happy hours are daily at Capitol Grill. Also enjoy the all-new Tuesday night and karaoke on Wednesday and Friday nights from 8 till midnight with DJ Money Mod. Capitol Grill, DeVille Plaza in Jackson.
Come together right now.
And we're back on the Lindsey Beckham show here talking about the Eddie Williams case. Unsolved, I guess you would say, Lindsey.
From 2002.
2002, when we were all much younger, at least I was. And Lindsey was still in high school, though. So
I was 29, just like I am now.
Yeah, 2002. Anyway, Lindsey, so we were talking about, where did we leave off? About the actual scene, what happened when the two guys came back to the Porsche that was on fire at that point. Is that right?
Right. So there was a witness at the time, Shannon Wasson, who lived close by. Now, she had been up late with her nephew, and they had gone to Walmart later, gone to the store late. They had gone to get a movie, and they were going to watch a movie late.
Back when you got DVDs and stuff.
Right, when you had to actually go get one of those.
Do that all the time.
Yeah, you didn't have the luxury of streaming everything. And so she had seen a car outside. She'd gone outside to get something out of her car, or either the nephew did, one of them did. They had seen a car smoking, and they had seen the engine smoking, and two men standing there who looked like they were working on the car.
And then this is about 1:30 in the morning-ish, I think.
Right. Yeah. So they didn't think all that much of it. Later, she sees a flash out her window, and she looks out and sees the car on fire. I think she ended up calling 911 3 different times.
But that wasn't until almost 2 hours later.
Right. It was later.
Yeah.
So she ended up calling 911 several times. And the funny thing is, by the time the cops and everyone gets there, these two guys that she says she had seen earlier that looked just like them, they were already there.
Right.
And
before the police and the fire department.
Before the police and the fire department get there. So the two guys that were there that she sees once the car's on fire are definitely Matt Weghorst and James Mitchell.
Yeah.
I don't know if she actually talked to them. I believe she talked to one of them.
Yeah, you talk about when they came back. Yes, right. It's them too, right?
Well, we don't know if they were there the first time or not. She just said it looked like them. It looked just like them.
It looked like. Well, I think she specifically referred to Mitchell. It looked like him. I don't know if she didn't say that towards Weck. She said it was two guys, but
she said they looked a whole lot alike. They were dressed similarly.
Right. That's what's in her statement. Yeah.
So once the fire department and the police get there, they have a dog.
Yeah, an arson dog.
Who detects accelerant on these two guys.
Correct.
Matt and James. And so obviously the cops are going to automatically think, okay, these are suspects.
Yeah, sure.
Now, they were arrested that night.
Yep.
And initially, I don't know how long they were in jail, but I guess when they went in front of a judge, the charges got dropped to arson and murder. But it was, what was it? The first charge was
capital murder.
Capital.
Yeah, and then what capital murder is a murder with what's called with or without design, which means you don't have to intend to kill somebody while in the commission of one of the enumerated felonies. And arson is one of those felonies that's included in that. You can also charge it as murder and arson. Murder is not eligible straight. Now it's first degree murder. Back then it was just regular murder. It's not eligible for the death penalty. Capital murder is eligible for the death penalty. So that's a little distinction there.
So those charges get decreased.
Yeah.
And they're able to bond out.
Right.
And I guess eventually it's determined they didn't have enough evidence. And it goes to the grand jury and they no bill.
Right. No bill means
that they did not indict.
They did not indict it. Right. That's what no bill means. True bill means they indicted it. No bill means they did not indict it.
So these two guys, Weghorst and Mitchell, turn around and sue. Like we were saying initially, they turn around and sue the officers, the detectives who worked on the case, and the Jackson Fire, whoever it was that worked on the case. And eventually that gets dismissed. But in the process, all of these documents come out that are now not public information. And that's what Shaun and I have been going through the past week or so. We've been combing through all of these documents, and we found a lot of things that were very interesting.
Well, first one thing though you left out that is the case got no bill based upon what the evidence that the district attorney's office presented. From what I can tell, the evidence was there was this one witness that said that she saw them, and the person looked just like, but didn't positively identify. Under what I have, I'm not seeing like a photo lineup or any of that kind of stuff. Then there was a dog with accelerant that hit accelerant, but I don't think they tested the clothing as far as I can tell.
Like they did.
That I can see that they tested that to the crime lab. There's also 4 affidavits though that were obtained on September 4th and September 3rd of 2002, which is just days after the murder, from people that I believe worked at Time Out. They were employees of the bar.
Right.
And they all filled out affidavits that were obtained by, I think it was James Mitchell's attorney and his part-time paralegal, you say? I guess
Yes and no. So this is the crazy thing. She had not really worked for him consistently.
Yeah.
It was kind of like every now
Contract
and then
work or
she would do something here and
Yeah,
there.
like an investigator or something.
But she's also really good friends with all of the people that she gets these
And that
signed
comes out
affidavits
in
from.
one of the depositions, right?
Right. So she knows all these people and they're her friends.
Yeah.
And there's 4 signed affidavits, and this is where Shaun and I disagree because I think, or we did it first anyway.
Yeah, no, you convinced me on this point, and we agree. I think they're all the affidavits are identical.
They
Like,
all say the same thing. I
That's
mean,
what I'm saying, so,
almost verbatim, word for
Right.
word, as if these people were told what to say. Not only that,
Not that we know that, but that.
not that we know that, but not only that, we have spoken, in fact, with someone who says that they know that one of these people who signed this affidavit was not there this entire time, that they left early that night.
Yeah.
There's no way that they could say, as a matter of fact, that these 2 guys were in timeout if they weren't there.
Yes, and like I said, they're identical, and they're taken. One's I think 3 of them are taken on September 3rd, one is on September the 4th. 4 people. So the district attorney's office had presented that portion to the grand jury, which these are alibi witnesses, is what it's called, alibi witnesses, which is tough to get in. As I explained to Lindsey, it's very tough to get around. You've got 4 people that are saying that, hey, I saw these guys at the time a murder is committed. I mean, that's what you got, and you'd have to find a way to attack that. And what I found out in the civil case, Bob Taylor wrote a response. Bob Taylor was the chief assistant district attorney in Hinds County back then. And he wrote a responsive motion to when Mitchell and Weghorst were trying to get the DA file in their civil case. And what he said was that the only reason you guys are not indicted is because of these alibi witnesses in his response. And we are working to get around that. And apparently, obviously, never did.
One thing I said to you about these witnesses is who, at the end of the night, after you've been working, serving drunk people, whatever, at the very end of the night, almost 3 o'clock in the morning, how many people do you know that are going to sit there and survey the room and look at the clock and know exactly who was there at every single second? You're not. You're trying to clean up and close that place down.
You were right. Lindsey called the times in this are very specific. All of them say 1:25 a.m. or 1:20 a.m. And they all say, I believe, like they left at 3:25 or 3:20. Amazingly,
right? 5 minutes.
They're all that. And it's
just like word for word.
And there's actually no other detail in that except for they were there during the time and they stayed after we closed and whatnot. And I think there was some reference to, it doesn't say in the affidavits, but we found out is it the depositions where Mr. Mitchell was passed out on the bar, or he, according to him,
something
right?
like that. Yes.
I can't remember exactly. I have to look that up. If that is accurate or not. Well, one of the things that really sparked my interest, and we got a few minutes in the segment, so I'll get to that. We can kind of describe it next segment. So on September the 11th of 2002, Matt Weghorst, who is now deceased. I don't think we've mentioned that now. He's deceased. He's no longer alive. He went to the district attorney's office. Again, this is exactly 2 weeks after the murder. And he signed what's called a Memorandum of Understanding.
Yeah, nobody knows what that is. So explain that.
Yeah, I did when I saw it. Basically, it's an agreement to testify to the state.
I think I read that out loud to you and your jaw hit the floor. You're like, give me that.
Yeah, I was like, let me look at this thing. So it's that's what it is. It means that you're going to turn. You watch TV, movies, turn state's evidence. That's the phrase they use.
He was going to flip and testify against James
from
Mitchell.
This. I mean, it doesn't. It's not. It's written so in a way it doesn't say he's going to flip. But I mean, it says assist the state with cooperating with the state's prosecution of this case, and in exchange there'll be a determination of what recommendation you'll get. So I mean, I've done these a million times. I know what it is. And so 2 weeks after his lawyer he had a different lawyer. Took him up there and trying to make a deal to testify against who I don't know, but
who else would there?
Well, it could have been. I mean, it doesn't say. It just says that to testify or to cooperate. He doesn't use the word.
Why did that not end up happening, Shaun?
Well, so Mr. Weghorst ends up taking a lie detector test at the DA's office that same day, and he fails it. And then he takes another one and he fails that one too, like a couple days later. So what generally happens, and I've been in that situation before, when you're the prosecutor and you're trying to get a witness to cooperate, you try to figure out if they're lying or not. Or what they do a lot of times is they don't want to tell you the whole story. They don't want to make themselves like totally culpable.
They're going to tell you most of it, but keep this part back.
Keep how bad stuff they did. And so they'll just tell you some of it just to like help you, but they didn't do anything. So I'm assuming he kind of told them like, hey, I heard, I wasn't there, but so-and-so did it. That's my best guess because that's what usually happens. So then the DA's office is like, we can't use you as a cooperating
witness.
Obviously
lying.
Yeah, you're obviously lying. So that didn't happen. But that's an interesting, but I mean, right there, the question you got to ask yourself, why do you show up at the DA's office 2 weeks after a murder if you didn't do it?
Right.
I
with
mean, like,
wanting to make a deal,
Yeah,
basically.
it's pretty apparent to me why you did that, because I've been in that situation so many times. And I don't know why you're going to agree to cooperate 2 weeks after. This is before, by the way, the DA's office does not get a case the week after a murder or 2 weeks after the murder. It gets worked up by law enforcement, and then it's brought over to us when I was there. So this is really early. And so the lawyer was smart, though. I was like, let me get a jump on this. He's going to testify against whoever he needs to testify against. So that's what I see happening. And we got to go to the next.
Yeah, we got to take a break, but stay with us because we're going to break down some more of this, and it just gets more interesting by the paper. Stay with us because we're going to break down some more of this, and it just gets more interesting by the paper.
1039 WYAB.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Did you know that the average 6-room house collects 40 pounds of dust each year? Local business Pure Air Consultants duct cleaning service can rid your home of the dust, dirt, and debris that may be caught in your air ducts. They can eliminate the mold, fungi, and microbes that might be growing inside your ductwork and polluting the air you breathe in your home. Mention WYAB and receive a free UV light with system replacement. Visit online at mypureairconsultants.com. mypureairconsultants.com.
Friday night lights, family, and a hot Johnny's Pizza House pizza on the table. Now, that's our kind of hustle. Make it a sweep the kitchen and bring everyone together. Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice. Here in the South, we keep our football loud and our pizza loaded. Grab a Johnny's Pizza House, sweep the kitchen, and cheer on your hometown team. Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice.
Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems, and now we are offering day and night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With day and night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty, and right now receive $20 off on service diagnostic fees. Call us today, 601-939-7420, mypureairconsultants.com.
CBS News Brief, a framework's been agreed to between the U.S. and China that allows TikTok to continue operating in the U.S. CBS's Aaron Navarro says the president has continually blocked a bipartisan law banning the video app.
President Trump in the second term has delayed that ban by 90-day spurts.
FBI Director Kash Patel tells Fox the Bureau has DNA evidence linking Charlie Kirk shooting suspect Tyler Robinson to the scene.
The DNA hits from the towel that was wrapped around the firearm and the DNA on the screwdriver are positively processed for the suspect in custody.
Robinson is scheduled to be arraigned tomorrow. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today pushed back on critics of his decision to attack Hamas leaders in Qatar, a U.S. ally. He says other nations have attacked terrorists living safely in other countries.
There's immense cynicism and hypocrisy in the condemnation of Israel.
CBS News Brief. I'm Christopher Cruz.
Venable Glass is your local glass expert, offering residential, automotive, and commercial glass. Venable Glass can do it all. What sets Venable Glass apart from the rest? Unmatched reliability and customer service. Don't forget, tell your insurance company that you want to use Venable Glass. And remember, you do have a choice. Let Venable Glass work hard to earn your business. Call Venable's Ridgeland or Brandon locations today for a free estimate or visit venableglass.com.
We all make plans for the future, but car accidents, break-ins, and unexpected fires can disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design insurance plans that work for you and help protect what matters most. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Let Shelter be your shield. Come see me, Jamie Creel, 601-992-6000.
Hey, this is John with MES. That's Mississippi Energy Services. We sell, service, and install all makes and models of home and business generators. One thing that we do different than a lot of other companies is we do all the work ourselves. We don't use subcontractors. We go from the original estimate, the design, to the final product. That way we can control the quality of the job from the beginning to the end. We are online at msenergy.us.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Come together.
And we're back on the Lindsey Beckham Show discussing the horrific murder of Eddie Williams in 2002. Here, again, we've gone through a lot of the documents and evidence that we've seen and the things, Lindsey. So, I mean,
there was lots of rumors, lots of word on the street. And so one thing that we have heard from a whole lot of people, and I want to be very careful here because we don't have any evidence of this, but there were many people back then who said that there was an incident at timeout in the bathroom.
Right.
And that's where he sustained these injuries. Eddie Williams sustained these injuries to his spinal cord.
Yeah.
Which was the second, I guess, cause of death.
Right.
First was smoke inhalation. Yeah. So, you beg the question, how did this man end up in the passenger seat? He's got this spinal cord injury. If he was,
well, I would say it's contusions of the brain stem. I guess you could call it, I'm not a
right.
Not a
well, the spinal cord, that's where it meets the brain stem.
It's blunt force trauma.
But
that's what it is.
Right.
The back of the neck.
So he's got these injuries. If he had sustained those injuries driving the car, he wouldn't have been able to move to the passenger seat.
Right.
And how did the car get lit on fire or catch on fire?
It's
so lots
amazing,
of questions,
right? Isn't it?
Lots of questions. And again, like I said, many people have alluded to the fact that something went down in the bathroom at timeout. So who would have wanted to hurt Eddie Williams when so many people loved him? And there are theories behind that too.
Tons of them.
We've heard drug theories. We've heard there was an ex-girlfriend who his friend Matt, one of these guys, was messing around with it. All this is alleged. I don't have any proof of any of this. This is not in the documents, but this is just kind of what has been like word on the street.
Yeah. And also, one thing I've learned, prosecuting so many different homicides, the reasons can be as simple as I had one case where a guy killed somebody over a pack of cigarettes. You just don't know. And I don't think that's what happened here, but I'm just saying, you don't have to determine motive to prosecute somebody for first degree murder or capital murder or anything like that. But it's important, kind of the jury wants to know a story. So you think like, what's the reason?
Was involved.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. But that's it's something that I remember, when I was a prosecutor, I'd want to find out why this happened, even though that's not a requirement of the law.
But it's like if you can get into somebody's brain and figure out why, then you can stop it from happening again.
Or at least you got a coherent story, because I think most people on the jury need to hear why. Like they want, it's part of the story that you're telling. So it's important. But yes, there's been a lot of different theories as to what the reasons were. We're not exactly sure what it was yet. I've heard enough of them, but anyway, so that's where it is now. But they what was really significant to me, Lindsey, and I know you feel the same way, is that so after this case is no billed, and after there's a witness that at least says they resemble the person that was there, and wasn't say it's 100% identification. A dog hits accelerant on the clothes. They're failing lie detector tests. I mean, this is not good for you, right? These are bad stuff. If the Jackson Police Department at that time had actually done
their job
better, like taken their clothing and tested it, I mean, they'd have been dead to rights at that point.
I think it would have been a lineup in front of the witness.
Yeah, it would have been hard to get around that. And I think if you'd done that, you would have made the alibi witnesses crack.
Yeah.
At that point. So
I think you can still make these alibi witnesses
crack.
Well,
it's it's under penalty of perjury, but there's only like a 2-year statute of limitations on that. So they really don't even know that there's a penalty that they'd be in danger of at this point.
Well, maybe they'll be willing to talk now. But and that's kind of our whole reason for coming on the show today and talking and telling the story, is because we are digging, we are talking to people. There are a lot of people that want to talk, but we also, anybody that wants to talk, we recommend you reach out.
But where I was going also is, so then these guys were brazen enough, assuming, I don't know that they did it. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just reading what the evidence is showing.
Pretty darn guilty to me, but
well,
I don't.
That's your opinion.
I wasn't there. That's obviously it's my opinion.
You don't have any facts. So the, I mean, that's the way, I would, if in my opinion, it seems like more likely than not, but I don't know. So I'm not, I don't want to, this is not defamation on anybody.
Right.
I think there was more that JPD could have done a lot more, obviously, to shore this up at the time. And then they didn't do that, unfortunately. What I thought was pretty brazen was filing a civil lawsuit. And quite frankly, very stupid, because it opens you up to, I'll explain this, to discovery that you wouldn't get as the defendant in a criminal case, like a deposition. You can't take the deposition of a criminal defendant in a criminal case, but in a civil case,
you can.
They're the ones who initiated it. So of course that, they got deposed immediately.
And that's where we're seeing all this information.
Yeah.
A lot of it in their depositions.
A ton of it. And a lot of the pieces of the file, I think, were part of the civil discovery that we wouldn't have access to because they're considering it like an open investigation. I mean, there's one point in James Mitchell's deposition where the city's attorney asked him, the dog hit accelerant on you. And he said, well, I mean, I was drinking Jägermeister. I could be sweating accelerant. I was like, well, that's a really crass thing to say at that point.
Right. And I said to you, I said, why would they do that? Why would they, if they're guilty, why would they turn around and sue these people? And you said, maybe that's exactly what
I think that the possibility that they were thinking that, like, this is a way to maybe clear our names up if they are. And again, I don't know if they are guilty or not. But just in my opinion, that would be a reason why you would do that, why you would file that law, which is obviously the lawsuit has got no basis. I mean, the federal judge, if you read his opinion, is very clear. Like, look at he goes through the things that would lead you to have probable cause. It's James Mitchell's Porsche. Eddie Williams is in the passenger seat. They come out there before the police ever get there, which is another thing I think is interesting. Like, how did they just know to get out there?
People weren't texting each other back then. You couldn't look up somebody's location.
No, I mean, so they just got up there, and a bunch of other people show up too.
And the attorney, Mitchell's attorney, shows up at the police station.
I think he called him though. I read the deposition though. He actually called him.
It's still the middle of the night.
So these people show up, and before the police ever get out there, somehow they know there's to go look there. And I think what they said maybe in the deposition is like they weren't going to go out looking for him. Well, if my buddy doesn't show up and he's going to meet me at a bar and it's been 2 hours, wouldn't I kind of get worried at that
Especially
point?
if he's driving your Porsche?
I mean, yeah.
And he's been drinking?
It's my car. I mean, so then you wait 2 hours and you go looking for him. Okay. And
after the bar finally kicks you out. I mean,
well, they're closing down. Everybody's leaving.
Right.
I get that. And so they hit accelerant on him, obviously, both those guys. And then, and then there's that witness that, I guess you would say sort of sees them, doesn't positively identify, but according to what I'm reading,
just looks just like
is the word she uses in her statement. Looks just like. So you got that. And so you got enough of that where probable cause to me is established at that point. And that's why that's what the federal judge said. And then you go out and you sue for that, which opens you up to all this stuff. I mean, if there was ever another prosecution, some prosecutor's going to grab those depositions. Well, I mean, not for, obviously Mr. Weghorst is not alive anymore, but I think Mr. Mitchell, and it's not going to be good. In my opinion, it's not going to be good. So
a lot of questions about some.
Yeah, that was really a mistake in my mind. And that's what allowed. I mean, because we would have known about this memorandum of understanding between Weghorst and the DA's office. The agreement essentially to flip is what it is. I mean, it's what you're doing there. Which,
and if you're innocent, you don't do that.
That would be. I mean, I don't know many people that I ever worked one of those deals out with that were innocent.
Right. I mean, why would you?
Just don't. Yeah, that's not the way that works for sure. So, and especially, I think it was smart lawyering though. And it was John Coletti was representing him at the time. And I know John very well, a very good lawyer. And he took him up there in 2 weeks. Like, that's what I would do. I mean, that's a smart thing. You want to, it's always called get to the courthouse the first. You're the one to be the first one at the courthouse.
Because then you get the better deal.
Absolutely. I'm the one willing to flip. That's what you want to do. So that's what apparently they were attempting to do. Unfortunately I guess it worked out in the end for both those guys. But for Weghorst, he failed those 2 lie detector tests because he kept, I remember one of the reports, the guy says that it was obvious he was being dishonest about seeing gasoline poured on Eddie Williams.
Yeah, there were 3 different questions. You have those lie detector tests in front of you. There's 3 different questions, and they both Mitchell and Weghorst failed the lie detectors on the same 3 different questions, which I thought was very interesting. And there's something else I was about to say, and now I just lost my train of thought.
I'll let you look at it because you're going into that. Go ahead. I'm handing it to you.
Yeah. So, okay. The questions that were failed on the lie detector test by Weghorst twice was, do you have any information about Eddie's death that you have not shared with me? He says no. Did you see anyone pour gas on Eddie the night he burned? He says no. Did you yourself pour gas on Eddie the night he burned? He says no. Did you cause the death of Eddie Williams? And he says no. Those 4 questions, he failed both times. Now, I think it's also interesting to talk about, he also had taken another lie detector test at some point in his life, not too long before this, about something to do with his job, something he witnessed at his job that he passed completely because he was asked to do that, I guess, by his place of employment. So he was able to pass a lie detector test. It wasn't that he just got nervous and couldn't pass a lie detector test. He had passed one in the past previously.
Right.
So therefore it makes it even more strange that he fails these questions twice.
Yeah.
And then Mitchell at least once.
They say, they say, I'm looking in his report. It says, did you see anyone pour gas on Eddie the night he was burned? No. Did you yourself pour gas on Eddie the night he was burned? No. Did you cause the death of Eddie Williams? No. The result of the exam was that the deceptive response was recorded on relevant questions asked. In the opinion of this examiner, based on the recorded response, James Mitchell has not been truthful in his account of his involvement in the death of Eddie Williams. It's signed Wayne Humphreys, polygraph examiner.
It's the same thing. This
September 24th, 2002. So this is just
this
again,
one was,
like
and this was September 12th. So a few weeks right after he went to try and make a deal, he takes the lie
he played
detector.
Let's Make a Deal, and then he failed the polygraphs twice. Just tell the truth, like at that point, like just tell the truth.
But my thing is, this poor family has had no peace, no justice. This has been for 23 years. They have thought that they knew what happened, or feel that they know what happened, and there's no justice. So that's why we're here.
And we've got to go to break, but we will kind of shore this up on the last segment we got here on the Lindsey Beckham Show. We'll see y'all in a moment. We will kind of shore this up on the last segment we got here on the Lindsey Beckham Show. We'll see y'all in a moment.
.1039 WYAB.
Nick Bain served Mississippi for over a decade in the State House. During that time, he fought for our children by protecting them against explicit materials pushed by the woke agenda. He protected taxpayers by streamlining government and helped create policies that have made Mississippi better. Nick and his team at Bain Bowen will use the same tenacity in helping you with all your legal matters. Call them today at 601-953-2994. Find Nick online at bainbowen.com. That's BAIN Bowen.com.
If you had an accident and had your vehicle repaired at the insurance company preferred shop, you might consider calling Clinton Body Shop to schedule a post-repair inspection. 5 of the last 6 cars we inspected were bought back by the insurer or repair shop due to unsafe repairs. Your family's safety and your investment are at risk. You may have a diminished value claim due to repairs. Did your insurance company mention that? In Clinton and in Richland, we work for you. We take pride in perfection.
Business owners, tired of drowning in payroll, compliance, and back office headaches? P-Police has your back. P-Police can free you from the never-ending grind of employee administration, such as time and attendance, onboarding, background checks, even business insurance. While you focus on growing your business, P-Police handles the paperwork. Stop stressing and start succeeding. Partner with P-Police, locally based in Ridgeland. Visit ppolice.com and get back to business.
Burgers, blues, barbecue, the name says it all. At our spots in Madison, downtown Brandon, and Flowood at Dogwood, dive into mouth-watering, award-winning burgers and barbecue like our tender brisket and savory pulled pork that'll have you licking your fingers clean. Our B3 Catering Company can handle any job from 5 to 5,000 people, and with 2 food trucks ready for all your special events. Check out the all-new burgersblues.com to view our full menu, order carryout, and delivery by locally owned Take a Break deliveries.
Looking for adventure, amazing food, and a little relaxation all in one place? You'll find it at Cypress Point Resort in Brandon. Load up the family and experience a real drive-through safari, petting zoo, and thrilling guided Jeep tours. Then slow it down with mouth-watering steaks at the steakhouse, or grab drinks and live music at the tavern. Planning a wedding or reunion? Cypress Point Resort has beautiful venues and cozy lodging. Ready for your big day or just a weekend escape? It's everything you love about the outdoors with a touch of luxury. Cypress Point Resort. Wild fun right around the corner.
Men, let's talk about low testosterone. Do you suffer from any of these symptoms? Low sex drive, ED. Are you always tired, depressed? You have loss of muscle mass? You're obese? Maybe you have loss of focus and drive? Then you, my friends, may suffer from low testosterone. Let my buddies over at Men's Health in Mississippi, located right there in Madison, check your numbers today. Trust me, she'll thank you for it. I promise. Check them out online at menshealthms.com. That's menshealthms.com. Men's Health Mississippi.
Here's what they're saying about Corcoran Door Company.
I'm going to yell out to one of your sponsors here, Corcoran Door. When the guy came out here, instead of just trying to throw the door up, he was looking at the way the house was facing. Man, with this double garage here on the south side, you might want to consider a insulated door. I came in earlier today about 2:30. The car thermometer said 99 degrees. The thermometer inside the garage was 82.
That's why they've been around 50 years.
Yeah.
Corkanddoor.com. CORKERN door.com.
Why should you choose Ceramic Air Conditioning and Heating for all service or installation? Well, they purchase all parts directly from the manufacturer. All of their factory-trained technicians have been hand-selected for skill, work ethic, and experience. There are never any hidden fees or charges. Ceramic Air Conditioning and Heating is dedicated to your complete satisfaction.
And we're back on the Lindsey Beckham Show discussing the 2002 murder of Eddie Williams close to the former timeout bar on Old Canton Road.
Right. And like I said in the beginning, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We really wanted to come on today and just kind of give an overview and, let people know that we are looking into this. We've already had a ton of people reach out and want to talk to us and who may possibly have information that they didn't feel comfortable sharing back then. But we also want to let people know that if you do know anything and you want to talk with us, I know Shaun, you have a Shaun at WIAB email. I have a Lindsey at WIAB.com email. You can reach out to me there or on the Lindsey Beckham Show Facebook page or my personal Facebook page.
Yeah, same way. You can reach us at the law firm office number 601-862-1320 and onetextlaw.com, as well as Facebook, like whatever you get in contact with us pretty easy. We'll like to help you out. And hopefully, our politician friends have, met, like I said, the reason we got wind of that is because they met with the new mayor of Jackson and the I guess the whole law enforcement administration over there with Tyree as chief is changing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hopefully they're going to, start looking into it as well.
Yeah, it's time to bring this family some justice and some peace. And they deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems there's certain things with this case to me based on it, looking at it and looking at so many of these things over the years. There's a few things you'd have to shore up, and I think it would be pretty obvious. Though, of course, what's the elephant in the room here is 23-year-old case.
Right.
And that in itself causes difficulties.
Right. Evidence.
Just with that portion is one of the most difficult parts. A good example of that, of course, is the Byron Dale Beckwith case, the murder of Medgar Evers. That was.
I knew we couldn't get through this without
I can't.
you.
Well, I mean, it's the one. Yeah, I know. Of course, I talk about that one because I followed it so much. I mean, read about it so much. I wasn't alive in the '60s, but I was a kid in the '90s and did see that. So those cases are really. It's really tough to do that. So there is tons of impediments to it. But
hopefully we've kicked the dust up a little bit and we can start talking to some people and get some answers.
Yeah, just like I said, there's a few points in that thing I think that would be needed to break through to get an indictment. So anyway.
Yeah, and we are just about at the end of our show for the day, but y'all follow us. We are going to continue to talk about this and bring you all the latest updates. So don't miss out on that.
See ya.